Hey guys, it's Lauren. Welcome to my channel. So today is going to be really fun. We're going to talk about Milani's Most Loved Mattes palette. So this palette came out around January, I want to say. Emily Noel raved about this one and the Bold Obsessions one in her video. The Bold Obsession one has more shimmers than that one. They have more pops of color in that palette. This is more of a warm-toned all-matte palette. So you have some warmer tones down here, and then I liked it because you also had some cooler tones up here. And I am like a cool tone girl all the way, but I thought it would help me jump out of my comfort zone. It had those pops of warmth that I feel like look really pretty in the summer. So yeah, I just had to have it. So I picked it up at my local Walmart. It was on sale. I want to say it was like 15 bucks. So not bad for the variety of shades you get and the amount of shades you get. I feel like you get a lot of colors in here. And again, a nice variety. So yeah, I picked it up and today I played with it. So we're going to do some swatches and a little try on. I'll show you guys how I got this look right here. And I put on every single color in this palette, so you'll see how everything swatches, how everything applies to the eye. Definitely some pros and cons to how this applied, but in the end you'll hear my final thoughts. You'll see how it applies, see how it swatches, and so yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to first prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This stuff is my favorite, and it was just available as one of the rewards on what is it, Sephora's rewards program. I think it was a 100-point perk, so if it's still available, definitely pick this up. I feel like this little guy is going to last me forever. I had the full version and I still have it. It's like just super old. I probably really should get rid of it. But yeah, even this little one will probably last forever because you need the little spit. It's just so great. It evens out your lids. It really makes your shadow last. So yeah, it's definitely a good investment. But if you can get it for free for the 100-point perk awards, definitely take advantage of that. Alright, and then I'm going to go in with the lightest shade in here. So I'm going to start with this one on the top corner. Oh, don't mind my hair in here. This one is called the shade Fancy Vanilla. This is like a really pale beige color. Not quite a white shade, not quite a tan. It's just a nice neutral shade just to even out the lid. And I like to do this because it takes out any oils from your lid. So then the rest of your shadow can go on a lot smoother. Okay, and then, okay, I'm already getting a ton of fallout. I don't know if you can see that in the pan, but there's a lot of fallout. I didn't notice anything on my eyes yet, so we will see. And then for transition, I'm going to go in with this peachy shade up here. This is called Your Peach. The names in here are also really super cute. Alright, we're just going to go all over, in between the lid and the brow bone. This does not have to be precise by any means. And I like to use a shade slightly darker than my skin tone for transition. I feel like I've been experimenting with more peach shades for transition. It really brings out the color in your eyes. I really like the shade from Makeup Geek. I think it's Peach Smoothie. That's an awesome color too. So this is actually a really good dupe for that. Okay, so that shadow went on really smooth. I like the shade. That would be a pretty eye look just by itself like that. Yeah, I really like that. It's pretty. It's not what we're going for here today. We're going to try every shade in this palette. So let's experiment a little bit more. We'll go in with, I'm going to mix these two shades together for the crease color. They're called Come Up Roses and Bust a Move. So Come Up Roses is like a light mauve, and then Bust a Move is more of a dark mauve. Alright, so I'm going to go in with a smaller brush. This is the Morphe E330 brush. Just mixing these two together. Wow, these eyeshadows definitely do have a lot of fallout. You see a lot of powder in the pan, but I'm not really seeing it underneath my eye yet, so that's good. I'll go just back and forth in windshield wiper motion. And then for more definition in the crease, I'm going to go in with this brown shade. This is called Catch a Tan. This looks like it's more of a warm-toned brown. Has more of like a red undertone to it. I never jump out of the box when it comes to my eyeshadows, but I'm really trying to experiment more these days. I have been loving the Back Talk palette. I did a whole review on that if you guys want to check it out. But that was the first palette that actually got me really excited for warmer tones. So yeah, I like them. I don't know, I can't do like the really deep reds. I just feel like they make me look sick sometimes. But I feel like with just a hint of it, like just a little spit, I feel like it can really brighten up your eye, open up your eye, bring out like any eye shade. And then I'll go in with my Daily Latte. This is just a light beige. I just want to kind of like buff out that top edge just to give it more of like a gradient effect. Am I going a little too high with this? We'll see. Don't you feel like your shadow always looks super crazy until you put liner and mascara on? I always feel like I look like a clown, and then once I feel like my lashes go on and my mascara goes on, and then I finally like the look, but it takes a little bit. But alright, let's go in with, let's see, what do I want to do next? I want to define the outer corner of my eye, so we'll go in a little deeper. Let's go in with this purple shade. This is, this is no plum intended. This is just like a true deep purple. And I just want to define the crease a little bit more with this. That is the birds chirping in the background if you can hear them. The sun is finally out today. It's been so crappy here in Philly recently. We had a snowstorm last week. It's just been so nuts. I'm so ready for spring. That's why I got my hair done a lot lighter. I'm like, maybe my blonde will bring the spring weather with it. I just can't with this dark and dreary weather anymore. Alright, and then I'm going to darken the outer corner here, and I'm going to go in with probably the darkest shades in this palette. We'll go in with this chocolate brown. This is Chocolate is Life, and then the middle one is Don't Raise in Your Voice. So Chocolate is Life is just like a deep, obviously, chocolate brown. What is in my eyelash? Do you guys ever find like leftover glue from a lash from the day before? That's so gross. So I'm just kind of making a V in that outer corner here. We'll go to the other side. So yeah, speaking of going blonder, I went to a new hairstylist and I just feel so guilty. And I didn't switch a stylist for any particular reason. I need to go at night now. It's just easier with my toddler, just for babysitting purposes. But I feel so guilty because it's the same salon. I'm just so scared I'm going to run into her in the salon. She's going to think I left her because I didn't like her, the job she was doing. I just hate that. You feel like you're cheating on your hairstylist when you switch one. It's always so awkward. Why is it like that? Alright, does it look even? I feel like it looks, I don't know, maybe a little patchy on the side. I feel like the light shades blended really nicely, but as we're getting into the darker shades, I feel like, I don't know, it's starting to look a little patchy. So I'm just trying to smooth it out now. And then I'm going to go back in with this lightest shade, this Fancy Vanilla, and we'll go on the inner crease with this. This light shade, believe it or not, I felt like was almost the most pigmented of all of them. Usually it's the darkest, but this actually goes on really nice. For the longest time when I was trying to do a cut crease, I would just almost like pat the eyeshadow on. But now I really found that like you get more definition when you actually use more pressure towards the tip. So now what I do, I kind of pat it on and then I press and just go in windshield wiper motions, and that gives you a little bit more definition. And then we'll go into this other dark shade. This is more of like a milk chocolate. This is called Umber the Sun. It's slightly darker than this one on the outer corner. And I'm just going to go on my lower lash line with that. I've really been liking eyeshadow on the lower lash line. It's just kind of nice. You can kind of skip your eyeliner and it really opens your eyes up. The only thing with this, I feel like I always get eyeshadow like in my eye. I don't know if there's any way to avoid that, but I feel like it's inevitable with me when I do this. Maybe it's this brush. I think this is just like a cheapy brush from Amazon. Maybe like a smoother brush would pack on the color a little better. But okay, so I like that color underneath there. Let's go in and let's go to this red brick shade. This is Hiking in Sedona. This is like a nice like red brown shade. Now this is the color that is definitely going to get me out of my comfort zone because like I was saying, I'm not a big fan of like the reds and the oranges on eyes, but I don't know, I think this is just, it's subtle enough but edgy enough where it's going to give your eye just like a little something, just a little pop of color. So yeah, that looks really pretty. That is pretty pigmented. Oh, I like that, it's pretty. Okay, so did we use all the shades? I think we did. Alright, so what do we think? I think I like the colors. They were really pigmented. I like the eye look. I'm just going to throw in some lashes and see how the final look looks. Alright guys, so I had a bit of a lash disaster. I had on 2 different lashes on each of my eyes and it just looked so crazy. So I had to take them off and now I just have like glue in my lashes and it just looks like a hot mess. So I'm going to go back in and try to clean this up. I'm going to go in with the darkest shade. This is that dark chocolate brown shade. This is Chocolate is Life. So let's see if we can't fix this. What is the deal? I need to like be better organized, you guys. My lash is like sitting on the sink, ready to go. But yeah, different, totally different too. Like one was like a wispy lash and the other one was like that straight, I don't know, what do you call it? The demi-wispy? When it's just like a flat, like more natural looking lash. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was like half asleep this morning. And we're just going to do a little shadow wing today. I actually do this a lot. I feel like I get lazy with liquid liner, but I like the look of like a shadow line. I just feel like it looks a little more natural, and then it like, I don't know, it connects the eye look. I feel like it brings everything together. Alright, so lash glue situation diverted. I cleaned up my lash line a little bit, and as I'm looking at the final look, I feel like it's a little patchy on the outer edges. I feel like I want to clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to go back in with this purple tone shade, this No Plum Intended, just to help even it out slightly. So while I'm doing this, I guess I can give you my final thoughts. I feel like the lighter shades were really pretty. They blended really nicely. I actually thought the pigmentation on the light shades were really nice. But the darker ones, I don't know, I feel like they're a little more difficult to work with. They don't blend as nicely. This purple looked a little patchy. I mean, it definitely, as I'm working with it more, it looks a little more blended. But I don't know if I want to be working with shadows this much. Now, don't get me wrong, I love playing with eyeshadows, but I just feel like they take a lot to get a smooth look out of it. Alright, so now it's looking a little sharp. I'm going to go back in with that shade I used for a transition color, that Just Peachy shade. I'm just going to go above it slightly just to kind of bring everything together. And then I'll highlight my brow bone with this lightest shade. So yeah, look at that pigmentation of that light shade. It shows up really, really nicely. So yeah, I really did enjoy the lighter shades in this palette. I just found that the darker shades were a little more difficult to work with. They just got patchy, a little muddy. They were a little more difficult to blend, and the light shades just worked really nicely. When I added that transition color on, I really liked the look of that. I love the color selection here. These are like my shades. Again, they have the cool tones, and you can step out of your comfort zone with more of these warmer tone shades. So I really like the range in here. I feel like you can create a lot of different looks like this, but I think I'll save this for more of my daytime looks, more of like an everyday look. I think my nighttime looks, if I'm going to go for a smoky eye, I'll probably reach for another palette. But for a drugstore palette, I really do feel like this is a great buy. This can range, I've seen it anywhere from like $15 to $20. So for the quality of the eyeshadows, that's not bad. But again, if I'm going to go for a more glam, a darker look, I'm going to reach for something else. But overall, I think this will be a good palette just to have for every day. So yeah, that's my final thoughts, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next one.